Charles Oliveira finds himself back in the win column, picking up a submission over Mateusz Gamrot. I picked him to fucking knock him out, but I picked him. I picked him via second round knockout as well. So I actually got it technically right, second round finish. But he picked up the submission, and fuck me, I think that was probably the best Charles Oliveira I have seen since not even Benil Dariush, maybe Justin Gaethje. Dare I say that was the best Charles since Gaethje that we have seen. Obviously, he looked very good against Chandler, but he played much more of a defensive role against Chandler. I really liked Charles's offense in this fight. Fucking loved it. Okay, now there was a few reasons why. Okay, so in the first round, I feel like Mateusz Gamrot actually hit him with like a really good shot in the first round, and I think that was the moment Charles realized, okay, this is not Elite Poria. This guy's not going to drop me. This guy's not going to hurt me conscious. And I personally think that's why we saw such an aggressive Oliveira. The thought that this guy doesn't have real power in his hands, and they tangled a good bit in the first. Charles ended up getting his back towards the end of the first and kind of riding out that way. Gamrot got kind of like got caught in like a weird kind of arm position with his leg. I never really thought he was in any danger. I just thought he needed to be careful. It was almost like an omoplata, but he kind of had his leg as well. I didn't necessarily think he was in any danger. I just kind of thought, okay, this is a good position for Charles to progress in. He might wrap him up if Gamrot kind of moved to the left a bit, he might have got him in a triangle or something like that. Or if he moved to the right a little bit, he would have got him in an omoplata. The arm was there, so the armbar could have been there. But let's be honest with you, we don't see armbars in MMA anymore. We rarely fucking see rear naked chokes as well, to be honest with you. Second round, Charles was a lot more aggressive on the feet, really moving forward. And I'm telling you now, that is when I was like, okay, Charles definitely has this fight. Because I didn't think Gamrot had anything from on the ground with his submission threat. And I didn't think Gamrot had anything for him on the feet. That's why I picked him in the fight. I just thought Charles was a lot better on the feet and on the ground. I said it in my TikTok last night. You need a finishing. You need to be able to finish Oliveira. You're not going to beat him in a decision, in my opinion, because he's going to finish you or you're going to finish him. I know he went decision with Chandler, but he absolutely fucked Chandler the whole fight. I said it. You need to be able to finish Oliveira, or you're not going to win, in my opinion. Or he's going to finish you. There has to be a finishing potential in the fight. Um, fucking apart from Arman Tsarukyan, who got a dodgy ass split decision, and if there was another 20 seconds in the second round, he probably would have got finished. He's the only one that was able to beat him in a decision because that's Tsarukyan's game. Makhachev finished him. Topuria finished him. Poirier got finished, Gaethje got finished, Dariush got finished, Chandler got finished as well. Not to forget that Kevin Lee got finished. Loads of people have gotten finished from Oliveira. Okay, Tony Ferguson's a different beast. That dude's just not. Back then he wasn't being finished as well, but this was such a good Charles. I loved just Charles. I love the moving forward that Charles does. I felt like it's just felt like vintage Charles, and I really love seeing Charles on the ground again. I kind of feel like this was like a. I don't know if you all remember when Ortega submitted Yair. It kind of felt like Ortega had been like jumping in Ortega's guard the whole time, and it kind of felt like this was it as well. Because we seen Arman Arman and Islam really kind of like neutralized Oliveira on the ground and showed that he's human and stuff like that. But this was such an improved wrestling Charles, and I really thought that we saw that in the Chandler fight. I thought we saw Oliveira look amazing with his offensive wrestling in the Chandler fight. And this was an incredible performance. The way he was able to wrap around Gamrot's, to get the back in the second round was absolutely exceptional. Didn't look great on the feet. I've seen Oliveira look better on feet before, but I think Gamrot's quite jumpy almost, so I wouldn't be necessarily too harsh with him on the feet at all. Where does this leave Charles Oliveira? We all know. We all know who's next. The Blessed Express is taking a trip to Rio once again. Max Holloway. He called out Max Holloway. Perfect fight. Perfect fight. And I thought yesterday, I was talking to my friend about this. I thought they were going to do Pimlet versus Holloway. Paddy Pimlet, what are you going to do? Are you going to fight Fiziev? What are you going to do? It's really interesting. I'm saying this now, and I've said this. I don't know if I said it online, but I've said this to myself. Arman Tsarukyan holds the key to this whole thing. That Qatar fight is a lot bigger than people think. If he's able to finish Dan Hooker early and wants to make a turnaround in January to face Ilya, I think the UFC could do that. But if I'm putting my money on things as it stands now, I think Ilya versus Gaethje is going to happen, unfortunately. It's just the way it is. But if Armin leaves, no doubt. I feel like if Armin wins, he leaves no doubt anyway. Do you know what I mean? Sarukin's going to be next for the belt, in my opinion. Biggest fight, best fight, end of story. Then you have Charles back in the mix, calling out Max Holloway. Holloway accepts Oliveira's call out. What do you do with Paddy Pimblett? What do you do? You have to wait for losers. Do you fight Beneil Dariush? Do you finally fight Renato Moicano? Because let's not forget, he did only beat Chandler. You know what I mean? Like, Paddy only beat Chandler. But then again, I think Paddy's a big enough name to where he won't fight down. Am I doing anything to that? I think Paddy's such a name, and the stage he's at his career, he's only going to fight up. Now, I feel like Rafael Fiziev versus Pimblett makes sense in a lot of scenarios. I think that. I was hoping they would have done Armin Tsarukyan versus Pimblett, but we have Dan Hooker. There were so many ways to mix and match. Okay, Gaethje's going to get Ilya. Holloway's going to get fucking Oliveira. Pimblett's the odd man out in this whole situation. The odd man out. And it's crazy to think. I don't know if he just sat there and waited, or I just don't know what Pimblett was doing. But now he's kind of fucked everything up. Because he's not going to be able to get one of these big fights. Who do you give Pimblett? You have to wait for a loser of one fight. And, like, do you really want to fight Dan Hooker when he's coming off a loss to Sarukin? Do you really want to fight Gaethje? Gaethje's not going to fight again. Like, do you really want to fight Oliveira when Holloway? The Oliveira versus Holloway fight as well. I still pick Max Holloway to beat Charles Oliveira. I think Max Holloway would beat Charles Oliveira quite convincingly, if I'm being honest with you. I know that was career best performance from Oliveira. I know he looked great. But I just think Max Holloway is so fucking good at lightweight. I Max Holloway being the champion. I think he would beat Armin. I think it's between him and Armin. Like, now Charles is like the fourth best lightweight, which is crazy. You know, like, Ilya's number one. I would have Max as number two, Armin number three, and then, you know, Oliveira number four. And Oliveira just looked unbelievable. He might beat Armin the way he looked like that because Armin's been out so long. But as regards to the Holloway fight, listen, Monday is tomorrow. And if you've been watching this channel and you're an actual fan of this channel, you know it's Matchmaker Monday tomorrow. I won't speak too much on the Holloway fight. I will talk about it tomorrow. But I love the fight. I love it. Lightweight is absolutely popping at the moment. It's just a bit shit that we don't see Paddy Pimblett. Because he's probably one of the biggest names in the sport. And he just cannot stop getting fat. It was going to catch up to him eventually. And I think it's catching up to him now a little bit. You need to fucking put down the fork and pick up the gloves. That's my motto for Pimblett. You need to stop eating so much food that the UFC can't book you because you're so fat and you need to lose weight. I don't know, but Charles Oliveira looked absolutely incredible last night. I'm so happy. Like, worldwide depression is probably at an all-time low now that Pereira and Oliveira have won in the same week. So life's good. But like I said, Armin Tsarukyan, you hold the key to this whole thing. If you are able to beat Dan Hooker inside 2 rounds, and you get on the mic and say, I am fit and I want Ilya in January, maybe the UFC will be like, okay, you know, we'll turn you around in 7 weeks. You take 2 weeks off. You have a 6-week training camp for Ilya, something like that. Maybe they might do a pay-per-view at the end of January. And then you're perfect. You've, 2 full months to prepare for Ilya? I don't really know. I don't know. I find that very hard to believe will happen. When I just think the UFC will just book Gaethje. And then Tsarukyan will fight him in the summer. Which is shit. I just hate having to wait 6 months. I hate having to wait 8 months for a champion. Like, it's fucking bullshit. 4 months, Ilya Topuria should have been fighting on the Abu Dhabi card. And that is such a fact. He should have been fighting anybody on that Abu Dhabi card. Now, the whole Paramount deal, fair. We need a big one for the Paramount Plus card. The very first one. And they're going to have a big one. Ilya is going to be the name of that. And then maybe, just maybe, we might get, like, Pereira on that card as well. It's like the main event, co-main event, main event. I don't know what way you kind of work that because they usually do the higher weight classes as the main event. So I think Pereira deserves to be the main event of any pay-per-view over pretty much anybody in the sport at the moment, in my opinion. But Let me know what you think about the Bronx down below. Absolutely incredible that he's won, and thanks.